not, kind of going down the order of the funds, I'd like to go to the road funds next. The local and major funds, which is, starts on page 46. So, for point of reference, the city, the city has two road funds, the major road funds, the local road funds, and there's defined roads that are major, there's defined roads that are local, and the state gives us revenue, state sharing revenue, based on, our major road and local road. Major roads always get more state funding, but we're allowed to allocate 50% to the local road fund to help out with local.
Our asset allocation plan was just approved today.
If you have an asset allocation plan approved by the state, then you can transfer more than 50% of those funds. So, yeah, I saw that email, so that's a good thing if we wanted to transfer more than 50%. So basically, that's kind of, a couple things I just want to say about the two funds. So we'll start with the major fund, which is on 46 and 47, and, we'll go from there. And just to summarize, the current year budget, with the net income is just increases actually by 21,000 total for the current year budget, and the reason for that is a little bit more than anticipated numbers for the major road fund. There has been communication out. I don't know if the council is aware. There's been communication out that for whatever reason with the state system, they actually overpaid some communities for the prior year, that they're going to reduce a couple of the current year and some of next year's funding for that overage. The best estimate that I can see from their communication is because there was a lack of communication between some departments at the state level. But they did update their estimations and their stuff before that already, so numbers that I have in here already takes into account that particular reduction, and I forgot exactly what the total amount was for the city. I'm guessing a total between the two funds it was like 260,000 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Additional from what you got?
No, the overpayment that he did the previous year. So, relatively speaking, not a huge amount for a city our size, but still, just if you guys hear about that or something like that, that's what happened. But we are aware of it, and we are make sure that it's in our estimations. So, with that being said, the fund balance for the major road at the end of this year is projected to be 1.1 million, and then going into the 20 budget, there is a 464,000 use of that fund balance to have a projected fund balance of 639,000, which represents 12% of the expenditures for fund balance. And then, if you want to kind of go over, I'm going to bring up on the screen, but Keith has a comments tab here that kind of goes over like the projects, because the majority of the budgets are spent on road projects, obviously, for the concrete, asphalt. So I'll turn it over to Keith to kind of give some highlights of what's going on with the budget for next year for these items.
As you can see in the local road program, I'm pretty aggressive.
Can we say the major? We'll go over in a second. Can we say major? We'll start with major.
Okay, the major road. Well, the only thing that we have besides, let's start at the very top. The major is Monroe, E-course, trolley.
Can you make it bigger?
Got it.
There you go. That we were proposing to get that road done, but you want to. I didn't have these in order, but if you want to move down a little bit, Jason, look at the county projects. Those are committed funds versus Wayne County projects, and those are major roads.
Here.
Yep. So we got $982,000, and it looks, and we're only budgeted for $1 million, so that $1 million is already taken under major roads.
Okay.
Just to let you know. So I mean, you can see that I only have $1,700,000 in asphalt. Well, wait a second. We said we got 1.1 million for major road. And still, that's about it with contingencies. That's about all we're gonna be able to do. So if you want to move down to local.
Yep, just real quick to stay on major. So basically, like I said, the department request, if we had to, reduce some of the department requests that we talked about because of the limited funding, that brings us down. So most of the projects that the department some of the projects that the department want to do on that summary tab, we just can't do because of funding.
Right.
So,
Unless funding comes in high.
that's funding comes in.
In the last couple of years, after we received our funding, they balance their budgets and do audit, and they find that they have some additional funding in the last couple of years. This year, as a matter of fact, we had 724,000 additional funding that we did not project, that we used. So hopefully we get some more again next year, but when they give you the worksheets to fill out for budgeting purposes, this is about basically what you would have. Hopefully we can get some additional funding like we did in the last 2 years. Last year, I think we got 300-some thousand, and this year we got 2 checks for over 300, which totaled, we didn't get it all at the same time. We got the 2.
We'll go over it, and we addressed that in the local fund, so we'll go over that in the local fund, but yes, in the last couple of years, the state governor has allocated more funding than the regular Act 51 funds, and that's helped out.
And it didn't count towards your transfer either, your 50% transfer, it didn't count towards that.
So for information purposes, you know, a common question that would pop up is, okay, you see work orders here, you see work orders here, you know, what is that? Why is there different ones? And what it is the work orders, the common practice with Act 50 with these fundings is the DPW department in the general fund. That's where our employees are that do work on our roads for cold patching, street sweeping, road maintenance. So the common practice is all those can be reimbursed by the local or major roads. So what happens is we allocate the employees' loaded rate, so hourly rate plus benefits, and a rental rate for the equipment, because the equipment is all paid for out of general fund as well too, out of DPW department. So what we do, and it's a more beneficial way to do it, and it's common between communities, is okay, we allocate the employees' time and the rental rate for the equipment they use on the roads to the local or major road fund. So it's an expense on the major local road fund, and the expense is in the work orders line items. Why there's a couple of them is because there's different sub-departments. There's there's winter maintenance is a sub-department. There's routine maintenance, I believe, is another sub-department. And I think Keith maybe trying to find a breakdown of kind of what's the difference.
It's a sheet that we actually use that we fill out, you know, on a monthly basis.
Winter maintenance is obviously, a lot of it's sweep. With the snow removal comes out winter maintenance. When you're doing cold patching, I believe that's in regular routine maintenance. And the reason why we have to do that, like those sub-departments, is the state reporting. We have to report this to the Act 51 department in the state, the MDOT. We have to do an annual report, but we need to break down between routine maintenance, winter maintenance, and there's one other department, I just can't figure out what it is, but as you see on our account structure, you got this third segment that kind of shows that 463, 474, those are your sub-departments. And then again, and in salt, why you see salt here, you also saw salt in DPW, same concept. The actual commodity is bought out of DPW, but we can charge it when we use it to the road funds.
Every single day when you take a vehicle out, no matter what vehicle, it's the backhoe, the dump truck, the pickup truck, the hours on that vehicle get allocated in a form that is for every single day that you work, so it gets charged back. So that's what that is. And even equipment, you got equipment that you can charge back to. The state actually provides you with a book every year for all equipment, all trucks. It gives hourly rental rate that is to be charged, a state-approved charge.
So on the general fund side, because we're reimbursing for those DPW costs, we see revenue sources, reimbursement from local roads, reimbursement from major roads. So when you see that revenue on the general fund side, that's what it is. It matches the work orders on the local or major road side. So.
Jason, is it traffic maintenance?
Traffic, that's it. There's traffic.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a tough one.
Cindy used to work in that.
You used to work at the DPW.
It's been 7 years now.
So yeah, so that's just kind of explaining the work order, because it seems to be a common question. When we're